It's going to be a mild Christmas shaping up with no snowfall for anyone. Or is it? It's looking, in fact, like we might see messy Christmas travel from a winter storm that could bring snowfall to parts of the country. I've got the details on that, as well as the potential for New Year's winter storms further south and east. All that in this video.
One Nation weather.
Well, all good things and bad things start somewhere, right? And in this case, what's going to transpire over other parts of the country by and around Christmas time is going to start here with this western atmospheric river that's going through the rest of this week, with rainfall-induced flooding possible here just west of the Los Angeles area there in the Santa Ana Valley. We've got a slight to moderate flood risk there over parts of southern Cal in that region, so be prepared as these rainfall bands move on through with a low-pressure system that's going to be centered offshore here through our Wednesday and into our Thursday, really bringing some of that flooding there. Now, once we get systems in the west, they often tend to move east because that's how the airflow goes across the United States, and eventually we'll see something come out over the plains here. And let's kind of get into the details on what we could see in other parts of the country by that point. So again, here we go through the next couple of days. You know, we've got high pressure over most other parts of the country. The only place seeing that rain really is California here during our Wednesday, as we've got warmer than average air really building up over most of the country, and areas that have been cooler than average in the east really beginning to warm back on up and rebound by the end of the week. Now, as we make our way towards our Thursday, there's a couple things you'll notice. A little piece of that energy that hits California on Wednesday moves into parts of Oklahoma and Texas with some scattered showers there over places like Dallas and on up through Oklahoma City here on your Thursday afternoon. Southern Kansas also may be getting in on a few of those showers. Otherwise, though, we're just looking at that low pressure system continuing to kind of linger around and swirl off the California coastline. Friday morning to mid-morning to around the midday time frame, we see a few scattered showers try to push into the Midwest as well as the Arklatex region from that system that's out over the plains. The heavy rainfall and flooding threat continues here over not only California as well as parts of western Arizona. We also see some precipitation moving into parts of western Washington and western Oregon along the shores there. Should be quick enough to not cause much flooding, though. We will see some snowfall get going in those areas I just circled here of the Mountain West into parts of Utah as well as Colorado, and then back on up into parts of, say, Montana and Idaho here as we go into our Saturday. That's going to begin to kind of build a little system here out over the plains, and by the time we go Saturday the 23rd and into our Sunday, December 24th, this is on our Christmas Eve in the early morning here, you can see we've got a little bit of cold air, some snowfall here over Montana as well as Wyoming. We've got some scattered showers and thunderstorms here over the southern plains, and this system is actually going to have a low attached, so it's going to be much stronger. So we're actually going to see something really transpire out of this, of course, right in time for Christmas Eve travel here from parts of Missouri stretching on back to the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast, looking like we could be seeing some thunderstorms out of this with the zero model scenario. Some light to moderate snowfall here over parts of the Dakotas and the panhandle of Nebraska, but notice how some of this snowfall tightens on up there over parts of the Dakotas as well as northern Minnesota into our early Christmas morning here, with rainfall coming down pretty hard here in the Midwest all the way back on down to the Louisiana Gulf Coast there as we make our way into that Monday morning time frame, which is Christmas. And then this is Monday on Christmas around 7 p.m. 10 p.m. here, and we're looking at that system really now over the Midwest. We'll have to see if we can get enough snowfall on the ground on the western side of the system to bring in a white Christmas to some areas east of the Rockies. Overall, not looking like much, though, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But if you're enjoying my content, please hit subscribe if you haven't already for accurate, easy to understand, and passionate forecasting. Now, right back into this, let's kind of talk about where the cold air that could help bring in some snowfall is actually going to come from here. Obviously, we've got a bunch of ridging here over parts of the central and northern United States here through our Thursday the 21st, and that continues here as we make our way into the 22nd, the 23rd. But we're going to notice some of these blues that are here off of the southern shores of Alaska push its way on off towards the south and east with that system that's going to move into the Pacific Northwest that I pointed out a little bit earlier. As that high pressure intensifies here over parts of Saskatchewan there in Canada, we're going to see low pressure systems really begin to impact that west coast zone, as I've been mentioning, and then eventually some of that cold air just slides on into parts of the Pacific Northwest, and once it gets there, then it's going to kind of be free to slide on under that ridge and make its way into other areas of the country, which is where that interaction happens right around Christmas, bringing cold air and some snowfall into the Rockies and maybe just east of them, with warmer than average air in the showers and thunderstorms into parts of the central and maybe even parts of the eastern United States by that point as it begins to head in that direction. So here we go. This is Sunday, Christmas Eve. This is the 24th in the morning. Some scattered showers and storms, probably subsevere for morning time frame here, but maybe a few embedded severe storms here over parts of Oklahoma, especially central and northern Texas during that time. As we go Sunday afternoon, this is again Christmas Eve in the afternoon at this point now. Some scattered showers and storms continuing into the Arklatex region, parts of the Texarkana area getting in on some of those. Wouldn't be shocked if we saw some marginally severe weather here as those storms push through really the quad states here of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Maybe some scattered showers and storms pushing further east into the southeast beyond Christmas, though. At that point. Now, in terms of your snowfall total forecast with that Euro model here, obviously the Mountain West picking up on decent snowfall, higher elevations in the Four Corners, as well as back on up into Idaho, Montana, as well as, into the Sierra Nevada range. These areas picking up a foot in some of the higher elevations. But here we go. This is late on the day on your Christmas Eve. Some totals of anywhere to 2 to 4 inches here over parts of the Panhandle of Nebraska, as well as the Dakotas start to fill in. And then by the end of the day on Christmas, we could see some snowfall try to progress eastward here into other parts of the north central tier and the Midwest. But the problem is, for you to have a white Christmas, you need an inch of snow on the ground in the morning on Christmas Day. So you might not actually get the correct white Christmas definition that you're looking for, but maybe at least some snow actually falling on Christmas here, as the chances for some of that are really beginning to increase here over the north central plains with both models. I'll show you the GFS in a second. So really decreasing chances for snowfall by Christmas here along the East Coast, increasing though into parts of the West, and then notice after Christmas maybe some more snowfall out of that same system over parts of the Great Lakes as well. So we'll be keeping a very close watch on that. But with your GFS model Christmas system walkthrough, we see a very similar setup, but as we go into that Sunday time frame, again your Christmas Eve, some scattered showers and storms look a little bit further north here over parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, as well as Missouri and western Arkansas. The snowfall wrapping back around into parts of the Rockies, kind of the similar ordeal with the snowfall there. And then the system's a little weaker, but we have some stronger, maybe linear storms here into our early Christmas morning over the Arklatex region, and then we also see a little thin stripe of some heavy snow over the Dakotas and Minnesota. So overall placement isn't too far off, but there's just a little bit of differences here in all categories with the GFS and the Euro. Then again, we'll kind of have to track things out, but still looking pretty uncertain here as we go kind of beyond that Christmas time frame. Now your model blend, this is all the models combined here into one with the National Weather Service blend. Rainfall totals, this is through your December 27th here, and look at how the totals really are heavy there along the Pacific Northwest as well as California shores there. Of course, the higher elevations also getting on some heavy rain, but again, notice that pocket around Los Angeles and just northwest. We could see some 4 to 6 inch totals there, and then also looking like widespread totals of at least an inch here, increasing over the eastern U.S. as an active pattern begins. So here's what I wanted to show you all along, and what I'm sure you want to see, your current white Christmas forecast for you here. High elevation awesomeness is expected here in the mountainous west, not really looking at any problems there. Chances beginning to increase here with a system possible over the Dakotas and the north central for some snowfall. Storm arriving too late, I think, just into parts of other areas of the plains as well as the Great Lakes if you get snowfall. The existing snowfall depth from lake effect snow here into parts of Vermont and New York could briefly give you an inch of snow on the ground in the morning on Christmas, but sorry, the rest of you, I'm just not really anticipating any snowfall for you in the southeast, even parts of the I-95 corridor as well as along the west coast, just really looking like you're missing out on a white Christmas here this year. Now your temperature anomaly tracking with the European model, looking like we're going to be quite a bit above average here again as that ridging continues. This is as we get into our talk about what's going to happen potentially closer to New Year's, if you were looking for that part. Here we go, 15, 20, 25 degrees above where we should be on Friday, December 22nd. Now, as we make our way into Saturday the 23rd, pretty much the entire country above average, but we've got this little zone here where we're near average in the Pacific Northwest, and that's that cooler than average air that's going to eventually make its way on down into other parts of the country. That ridging just really builds up as we make our way towards the Christmas time frame over the north central, but then after that we just start to see that cold air push on in, and again, that's kind of how that whole low pressure sets up. You need cold air pushing in from behind in most cases, warmer than average air on the front side, which is also why you kind of get that the frontal potential there, which brings in that severe weather chance, at least on the lower end. We see the colder air spill into the Four Corners here by Tuesday, December 26th, as that low tightens up here over parts of Missouri, parts of Iowa, parts of Illinois. And then look at this. The way this low pressure system spins is going to be interesting, but it's looking like we could see a cold front kind of line up like that, and then eventually here, by the time we make our way towards the end of the month, I know this is, 10 days out, looks like parts of the southern and eastern United States might overall begin to get a little bit below average in the temperature department, which could help to bring not only parts of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Southeast a chance for some snowfall, but especially in that zone I just circled. We'll have to watch the end of the month for some increasing chances. So let me show you what I mean here. This is the total snowfall through December 28th with a blend of GFS models here. The Euro is looking pretty similar with that snowfall again over the west and into parts of the Dakotas. Maybe we could see some snowfall into these zones I just circled, but a little bit lower chances there, of course, than what's further west. But here we go. I'm going to play things out towards the new year, and we're kind of watching this zone I circled. Watch here as we go the 30th towards the 31st, towards your New Year's Eve and into your New Year time frame. Look at how some of the snowfall sinks southward here, kind of along the lines into parts of northern Texas. Again, the low pressure tracks are really going north of that L I just drew, but if we can get one to ride the subtropical jet stream and make its way through the southeast, we could at least see some snowfall here into some of these zones I just circled and northward from there, and maybe even see some snowfall increases all the way to the I-95 corridor in the northeast U.S. So we'll monitor that very closely. That was all the details I have for you on your latest forecast. Thank you so much for watching. As I said earlier, please hit that subscribe button for accurate, easy to understand, and passionate forecasting. Here are the credits, everyone. Have a great day.